Hey everybody, Roxaboxa90 here with another top 10 EDH Commander card countdown. So today we're going to do something a little different, taking a break from the shards. We're going to talk about the top 10 most broken EDH Commander cards that are not Power 9, not on the current EDH Commander multiplayer ban list. And these are also cards that to some extent or another have also impacted the larger game, not just EDH Commander, but we're going to try to focus in on these 10, which I think are particularly damaging. Realize this list, of course, is not completely inclusive of the entire game. I'm not that knowledgeable. I'd love to hear if you guys have additional ones that I miss out or that you think I missed in discussing. Please feel free to put those down below. I also have to give a shout out to Milo the Great One and Quad9S, both of whom will be linked in the description. They have great channels, very knowledgeable Magic players. They gave me some help in coming together with this list, so please check them out. To start off the list, we are going to start with honorable mentions, as we are off to do, and these are only a handful of them. There are of course many that I may have missed, but these are the ones that are very close to being on the list, just not quite there. And we'll start off with the Dream Halls. This is a card that as an enchantment is absolutely insane because it allows you to play anything for free as long as you discard a card with the same color, which in a 5-color deck is very easy. This card has been broken like there are amazing decks in Eternal formats, and in EDH Commander, there are tons of very powerful Dreamhall decks. Some of the most interesting variant decks run this card and build around this card. It's that powerful. Then we have Berserk, which is also absolutely insane. This is a Voltron key piece, and any deck with green would want to run this card because it allows you to turn your commander clock into an automatic win, where if you're a commander, you can get them up in damage, you can finish the game much faster than you would expect. It also is just ridiculously costed for what it is. We have Fork. This is just a staple. There are lots of cards like it, but being able to copy anything at instant speed for 2 red is insane. And there are lots of variants of this, but this is the oldest and my personal favorite. Survival of the Fittest. This card goes into most every deck that can run it. It's an insane tutor engine, and the fact that it's not a creature like Fauna Shaman makes it usable right away. It has many combos, and it has synergy galore. This card is ridiculous for its cost. Lion's Eye Diamond. This card sees some play in EDH Commander, but really the most powerful decks are ones seen in areas like Vintage and Legacy. This card in the right decks can be absolutely broken because it acts like a Black Lotus for the decks that don't care about discarding their hand by the point they want to use it. Stoneforge Mystic. This card of course broke Standard and would have broken Modern if they let it into Modern, which they smartly didn't. This card has many decks in Legacy. It sees even some Vintage play, and in EDH Commander, most any deck that runs any form of equipment and runs white runs this card. It is just that powerful for its cost. It can put stuff into play, avoiding counterspell, amazing tutor, amazingly costed, insane. Mishra's Workshop. This card is a little more very narrow because it only really works on artifact builds, but that's not saying much given that it gives you 3 colorless, untapped for artifacts. Insane card. And last up, these are, well, Tolarian Academy is on the current ban list, but Gaia's Cradle and Serra Sanctum both fall in the absolutely broken legendary land cycle from Urza's Saga. These cards give you way too much advantage with no drawbacks in EDH Commander because they're legendary lands, which mean nothing in EDH Commander. And we'll round it off with Chaos Orb. This card is really weird, doesn't see a lot of play because of just how strange it is. The reason this card was banned in a lot of formats and really doesn't see much play, I think, outside of Cube very much, is because of the fact that it messes with the gaming board, where you have to flip it, it destroys stuff. Usually, whenever I've seen it used, the person plays it and everyone agrees, okay, you can pick a permanent, and that's how it works. But this card messes around with the game space, physical space of the game, which isn't really fair and also really powerful. I've even read about articles where people said in the old times, people would tear their Chaos Orbs up into little pieces and throw it all over their opponent's board to completely annihilate them. I don't know who's crazy enough to do that, but apparently it was going on, and this card is just too broken for what it is. Entering at number 10, we have Bribery. 5 mana to take any creature and put into play for 5 in a format that relies on big creatures, and most every deck has huge creatures. Makes this card absolutely broken if you copy it. Even not copied, it's absolutely broken. 5 mana to take huge creatures that are way above mana cost put into play way too early. This card is heavily abused, and while maybe it's not ban list worthy, it sees play in most every deck that can run blue, which shows you what a consistently powerful card it is. 9 is Yawgmoth's Will, being able for 3 mana to replay everything from your graveyard. Decks that run black or any sort of ramp effects in EDH Commander particularly, this card lets you play so much from your graveyard for a tiny cost, given the kind of ramp that's available. This card, for what it is just way too powerful, really strong. Number 8, we have Skull Clamp. This card broke standard when it came out, and Wizards, if you know the story, changed it at last minute. It was supposed to be a little more expensive in its cost, and Wizards brought it down to 1 and 1, 1 equip, 1 play, which is insane given that this card has unbelievable synergy, even if your deck doesn't run things that you can kill on the spot by equipping, which turns a 1 put a creature in the graveyard, draw 2 cards, which is absolutely broken. It works insanely well with tokens, but also the fact is you can put it on a creature, and then if the opponent kills the creature, whether through wrath or whatever, you still draw 2 cards. It is so much value for so little. It broke standard for a reason. It's unbelievable in EDH Commander, and sees play in tons and tons of decks because of just how broken it is. Number 7 with Jace the Mind Sculptor. Is there anything that really has to be said about why this Planeswalker is so broken? He's just gives you everything you need. Now, while I would say in EDH Commander he's not the best Planeswalker, he still sees tons of play, and in other formats, well, most formats that are still allowed to run him, which aren't many, he's absolutely bonkers in. This guy is the man. Number 6, we have Necropotence. This card actually had an entire summer named after it because it broke the standard format so far. It broke Extended. It broke so many formats that Wizards tried to ban it after the fact, but it was much too late. It already had made its major impact, and this card in EDH Commander has no less power. Usually in a deck, especially mono black deck, if this card comes out early, the game's over very quickly. Now, the only drawback I would say is that because EDH Commander has such variety, the fact that you only get to draw the cards at the end step of your turn gives your opponent a chance to deal with Necropotence, but if this card sticks in play, it's absolutely broken. Number 5, we have Mana Drain, the most efficiently costed counterspell ever printed. Not Force of Will, even though Force of Will is probably the best because of how it's been used. Mana Drain for 2 mana, countering a spell right up, and then giving you that much mana into your pool, giving you a huge ramp, makes this card so broken. Wizards has been unable to find a place, so far at least, to reprint it where it wouldn't destroy whatever format and whatever set it's in. The card itself is absolutely insane. For 2 mana, so far ahead, so much better than Counterspell. In EDH Commander, a format where you have tons of spells that just need that extra 5 or 6 colorless to play, this card lets you ramp insanely while giving you full advantage. Amazing card. Number 4, Demonic Tutor. This card is the best tutor ever printed. Period. The best one. 2 mana that lets you get any card without revealing into your hand. If this card wasn't restricted, it would be 4 ofs in tons of decks. In EDH Commander, this card, if your deck's running black and you're not running Demonic Tutor, your deck is not as good as it could be. Period. It doesn't matter what you're trying to do with your deck. It must have this card. And that shows you just how broken it is, that it would be in any deck of its color. Across the board, no questions asked. Memory Jar is another one. This card might not be in every single deck. This card was so absolutely insane. In fact, it was so broken that Wizards pretty much almost right when it was out, Wizards banned it almost immediately. Very few people were able to play with it even. That's how powerful the decks were that used it. The fact that on your turn, your opponents are being forced to lose their whole hand, draw 7 cards, and of those 7 they can only use instants, while you get an entire brand new hand, and then you get to be able to use any of the cards you want. If you have no land, if you need spells, especially in decks that run lots of cheap stuff, this card allowed you to break things like crazy. It can be reused. I can't even go into all the reasons why this card is so broken, but in EDH Commander it's no different. This card sees lots and lots of play and can be easily abused in tons of decks. Really strong, really powerful card. Number 2, we have Strip Mine, the best land, significantly better than Wasteland. This card was pretty much banned outright because if this card was allowed to exist, every deck in Legacy, in Vintage, would run 3 to 4 of, just about. every deck would consider running 3 to 4 of these, because there's no downside. You get a colorless mana and you can destroy any land on the field without question. Wasteland, which destroys only non-basic, sees crazy amount of play. This card is significantly better, and it's not banned in EDH Commander. Go figure. You better run this card. It's ridiculous. And number 1, Soul Ring / Mana Crypt. Really Soul Ring because most people don't have a Mana Crypt because they're very expensive and they're very limited in release. They've never been officially legal. But Soul Ring is 1 colorless to give you advantage for the entire game. This card puts you so far in the lead, especially if you get in your opening hand, that most people, even in a multiplayer game, can't come back against the player who drops Soul Ring, which is often why many metagroups, even though it's legal in multiplayer, will still prevent and ban it in their play group. I know for us, we've actually considered it for quite a while, and sometimes we do, sometimes we let it play, sometimes we don't. We've seen that when Soul Ring's not around, it makes for a better playing field, because the first person who gets a Soul Ring is winning, is ahead, almost guaranteed. Mana Crypt is much the same problem. You may or may not take 3 damage, but you're able to play it turn 1, and it gives you the same effect as Soul Ring. This gives you a full turn advantage, and in EDH Commander, where life total doesn't really matter that much, it acts as good as a Soul Ring, if not even better. These cards are too powerful for what they are. They are so good. Even Wizards has acknowledged that most cards on this list were effectively mistakes, or the archetypical best that this card type could probably ever make, and break formats. Which is why these cards, they've tried over the years to make weaker versions of almost every card in this list, because of how important and how awesome they are, but also shows us in retrospect just how strong these cards are and how broken they are. So that's my top 10 non-Power 9, non-EDH Commander ban list broken card list. What a mouthful. If you guys enjoyed the video, tap the like button. And if you're new to the channel, check in and subscribe for more top 10 lists. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about the top 10 basic lands, which I'll be putting up next. And then I'll be making the next shard colors. So drop that down below as well if you guys have a particular interest. Thanks for watching, everyone. Roxabox90 signing out. I'll see you guys next time.